Ahoy! Welcome back to another installment of the Captain's Log. I am still here in Canggu in Bali, Indonesia. My name is Rix Lee, or Captain Rix. I'm a systems designer, strategic designer. I do a lot of work in transformation, collaboration design. And I started this little project, the Captain's Log, to document my learnings as I go through my journey, work with leadership in navigating uncertainty, and I'm currently building actually an online community called The Leadership. So this is now kind of like formed out of this little podcast series, which I'm really just doing for myself. To leave some breadcrumbs for somebody who might find this in the future, and maybe this will give some inspiration, and also maybe some of my learnings from my mistakes or things that I come across during my time might help somebody. So that's really the intention behind these things. If you haven't heard any of these episodes prior to this one, but this is now actually the sixth episode of the Captain's Log, and I'm actually quite surprised. I think I mentioned this last week. Is that it's gone so fast, and I've definitely had my challenges with it, But I'm really keeping this commitment to myself that every Sunday I'm going to record this thing. It's really therapeutic. I'm noticing a lot of really great effects of actually just sharing my week down, just giving a download of it. It helps me consolidate things in my mind, and also helps me reflect on the week that's gone and actually, really have gratitude about the experience that I'm having and actually the life that I get to live. Which is an incredible lifestyle, and I'm very, very, very privileged to live the life that I live, and the way that I live it. And I'm just going to be sharing a little bit about that. And if you haven't heard any of the other episodes, the basic framework for this series is I give 3 things that I learned that will help me make better decisions next week, and 5 things that went well. And if you have any questions for me or anything that you want to throw in the mix there, that framework might change a little bit because I might start answering some of these questions. But for the moment, that's how I'm rolling. So without further ado, let's get into that. The 3 things that I learned this week that will help me make better decisions next week. So the first thing is that everyone experiences some level of anxiety. It's and maybe some people are more along that journey where they don't have those, and they've kind of dealt with these things. But I feel like maybe they just have the tools in order to do that. But I think that from what I'm learning from speaking with clients and just my own journey and friends and everything, is that everyone has some kind of level of anxiety, no matter who you are, or some kind of triggers or things like that. And no matter what level you are, those or who you are, maybe it's just that those things get bigger, or your nervous system has a different capacity or a different kind of benchmark of what's actually safe, or what you can actually handle, or what you actually consider to be safety. So every level there's a new devil, every level there's a new level boss. So you get over one thing and you integrate the tools and you integrate that into your nervous system. And then you're doing great and everything's moving along, and then you get to another challenge and there's another thing. And I think it's all about really collecting those tools for you to use on that journey. And the more tools you have in your toolkit, or maybe it's not even more tools you have in your toolkit, but the tools that you have in your toolkit, the ones that work, and you can bring those out when you need them. And I think it's about developing that resilience and developing that toolkit, and also kind of knowing that, these things don't last forever, and there's always light at the end of the tunnel. It's like you're going to get through that. You're going to go through the pits, and then you're going to come out the other side. And no matter if you're just starting out on your entrepreneurial journey, or if it's just something that's happening through life, or if you're a high-level executive with really big challenges, or you're a government official, or somebody working in policy that's got responsibility for a lot of, that impacts a lot of people. there's all these different things, and they could be work related or they could be personal things that kind of impact you and your ability to show up to your work. But it's really about building these tools. And I find like creating anchors in my life are very important, like making sure I get to the gym, making sure I do the kettlebells, making sure if I can get to jiu-jitsu, get to jiu-jitsu. And do things, create these rituals in your life that actually help you to stay anchored and centered and keep the certainty. You can create the certainty through these anchor points while you're going through times which feel uncertain and maybe, might give you a little bit of anxiety. So yeah, that's the first thing. And I think it's across the board. You're not alone. Everyone experiences some level of this. Some people have healed some of this stuff, but I think there's always something. So you're not alone. It's not abnormal to have those kind of feelings, and definitely work on building a toolkit to help you deal with that stuff. Because it definitely helps. Definitely helps. The next thing is to not look back. I think that when you're going through change, and this can be personal change, this can be growth, your own growth, this can be within an organizational change or something like that. It's like, sometimes I catch myself lamenting on the past and really missing like friends and community, missing old girlfriend and really kind of like, getting into these funks because I miss these things. And then I just think, I've got to bring myself back and go, actually, there's healthy parts of those relationships and those environments, and there were very unhealthy healthy things. And that's the same thing with change and transformation. It's like we got to keep purpose and the vision of the future state of who we want to become, of where we're going, and we can't look back and hold on to those parts. And I think the biggest thing that I lament about is these connections, but also the old versions of myself that I miss. It's like I'm mourning them, and I miss parts of them. And I'm not looking back. I'm moving forward. I'm a lot more healthy, grounded, financially stable, mentally stable. I'm in a very, very, very good place right now. And I think like when you go through change, and you need to go through that change in order to do the things that you want to do in life, because the old version of you just is not able to handle that stuff, so you build up stronger. And within organizational change as well, it's like you're going through this change, you're going to want to go through this like transformation, and then you go, oh no, but like we miss that culture, or we miss that office space, it was our or we can't move, we can't change this system because we've grown fond of it, or it's part of our identity, but it's like you actually have to push through that. And then it's a lonely journey, there's friction there because, you miss that stuff. That stuff's comfy to you. It's helped you to shape who you are, who you were, to lead you up to that point. But it's actually, you got to let that stuff go. You've got to leap the abyss. You got to go into the unknown, and you have to go through the other side. And it's always going to end out better that way. But it's really just about pushing through. And whether that's you personally, or it's with your business or some system, it's like just hold the vision of that future and keep moving. You can have gratitude for those old versions of yourself. You can have gratitude for the old people, relationships, connections, intimate connections, colleagues, peers, friends, all of that. Have gratitude for that. Good parts and bad parts, it all shaped you. But leave it there, We need to move. We need to move forward now. And it might be lonely, but I can guarantee you that those new people that are more in line with your vibration and more in line with your truth and more healthy for you, things that are not going to be for you to be, things are maybe like a bit more of a collaborative relationship, a two-way relationship, where it's a healthy, where you're kind of building each other up. those kind of people will show up. If you're treating yourself like that and you're treating your business like that and you're moving through it, other people that are doing that are also going to be showing up. And it's a really is a beautiful thing. I'm definitely noticing that. And there's times when I'm very, very lonely because I am so selective of who I spend my time with. I will not invest or I cannot have a lot of people around in my energy, and there's only certain people that I will spend time with. I'm very, very particular about it. Not to be closed off, but it's like I need to be around an environment with people that are on the same kind of mission right now. It's very important for me. And so I was very, very, very alone for a lot of this journey. And there's a few particular people, highly cherished people to me that have kind of shown up on this journey. And I spend my time with them. If you're a leader that's going through some transformational change within your organization, build a network of other leaders who are going through the same thing. There's a lot of them right now. You'll be surprised. You're going through some challenge where you might not know how to handle something, and maybe somebody's in a completely different industry to you and they're able to give you some really amazing insight. And there's a lot of leaders right now that are having to lead in this really fast-paced environment where you don't know how to, what the next thing is, how you're going to integrate that new thing or that system, or, all the emotional and political kind of unrest that happens within an organization when you're going through change. There's a lot of you out there. And I guess that's the premise of the leadership, because I'd love to start connecting you all, so we've got a place where we can kind of move through this together. And the third thing is, this is a funny one actually. You can't rush a client to come to a conclusion on something. They have to get there on their own. And here's a little thing that I wrote. It's like, you can guide them, and chances are they're going to come back to the original advice you gave them when they originally called you for assistance. But you have to be patient and give them the right information at the right time. And sometimes you even have to kind of humor them. Like, they're going to want to do something that is just like completely going off the reservation. And it's leading them away from what what they actually need to be doing. And what I've learned is that you kind of just have to go with them, let them do it, and kind of minimize the damage in a way. Just kind of like give them what they need, like, so they don't waste time, like any more time than they pretty much really are. But it's not really a waste of time. I guess they have to come to that conclusion on their own. But basically, what I'm learning is that you kind of got to help them like do the thing, and then minimize kind of the damage or the stress that it might cause them, because you know what's coming. You can see further ahead than what they can see. You've seen this before. And then they go through that, and then they get the learning, and then they're like, oh yeah, like I need to do it like this. And you're like, they've basically come to the same conclusion. They've just told you the original thing that you told them to do like 3 months ago when they first called you. And now they've come to the conclusion where they're like, this is what I need to do. Actually, this thing doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yes. And what do you say to that? Because the easy thing to do is go, yeah, well, I told you so, but we don't say that. We don't say I told you so. We don't say I told you so. We say, oh, that sounds like a really great idea. That's a fantastic idea. So how can I support you with that? How about we do this? Boom, 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 boom. Because, even though you'd love to kind of, say, well, that's exactly what we said in the beginning. You kind of want to, they deserve the credit for coming to that conclusion on their own. It's not, and I think that going through that experience of going through that learning on their own and then coming out the other side and then having that conclusion, it's like they've got to get there too in their own time. And a lot of the, I love this saying that Matt Taylor says, is like the consecration of work the consummation of work, the real consummation of work is actually who we become when completing the task. So it's actually, they're a different person by the time they've gone through that journey. And if you don't allow them and support them to go through that, then you're kind of robbing them of that experience. And you're robbing them of that development, because it's through that process that they actually become that person that's able to do the thing that we talked about in the first instance. So those are my three learnings this week. So I hope you got some value out of those ones. But and then the 5 things that went well, these are just like little things that kind of went well in my life. The first thing is that I started rope flow this last week, and I've been working on my posture. I'm really very, very focused on, building better posture, building better movement, getting my fascia like working correctly together, connecting my mind and my body and the different like axis of planes of movement within my body. And I've been really focused on opening up these parts of my body and my mobility. And it's really, really helping. Like I used to have quite a bad like scoliosis and kyphosis, and I've really corrected a lot of that. My movement's so different. I feel a lot better in my body. But this last week I started rope flow, and this is amazing. If anyone hasn't tried rope flow before, I definitely recommend looking it up. It's very basic. It's not skipping, but you're using like a rope to like do certain movement patterns, and it's really been engaging my ribs. And actually on the side of my ribs where I did have that scoliosis, it's actually like opening up there, and I can really, for the first time, I can start to feel the connection. I can actually feel my ankle, knee, and hip as separate joints, which I've it's always felt like one thing before, but now I can actually feel the different joints and how it all kind of connects and moves up together. So it's pretty amazing. I've only been doing it for a week, and I've already been getting a lot of gains out of it. Incredible. Yeah. So and then also I'm feeling like my glutes firing, like my glutes and my hamstrings, which I haven't really like felt before. And the second thing is I've got friends visiting here right now. I've got friends visiting from Sydney, and I've got another friend visiting from the USA who I met in Thailand a few months back. And I really love when friends come to visit me. I'm in these like really cool like holiday locations, working from this absolute paradise. And I just, because I'm often on my own and in isolation, I really love when I have friends come and visit. It just kind of, gives me a little bit of a connection to home, and gives me, it's just a little bit of an energy boost, a little bit of a mood booster. So I do love that. And one of my friends who's visiting from Sydney, we've been friends for like 31 years, so this person like really knows me. Like I went to primary school and high school with them, and it's so nice when friends come to visit. The third thing is, I think I had a little bit of COVID this week, like a little bit of COVID-19. I think it's going around the gym. And I had no taste. I couldn't taste the thing. And I, like in Bali, they do these like IV drips. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but you can actually order an IV like with electrolytes and all sorts of, like what did I get? I got vitamin B complex, I got glutathione, electrolytes, vitamin C, antioxidants, like all this stuff like in this drip. And I ordered it over to the pool, like where I was at the gym. So the nurse comes around with the bag and all the gear, and basically just like taps you up to this drip by the pool. So I was just sitting there in like the jungle hospital, like getting this IV with all this good stuff in my system, and I had like a little bit of a sore throat like before I got this IV, and then like within moments, in fact I think while I was still hooked up to the drip, my sore throat completely gone. Next day I think that's like like I didn't know that I had COVID when I got that. My friend and I just organized the drip, and then 2 days later, the next day, I'm pretty sure, like I had like aches and stuff. I'm pretty sure apparently I've heard there's a little bit of the vid going around the gym. So yeah, but today's completely fine. Feeling great, actually. So that was pretty funny to get a little IV hookup at the gym by the pool. And the fourth thing is the new second brain system that I've built is amazing. Like, it's going so well. I did this masterclass. The link to the masterclass is in my previous video. Go and check that out. And I built that out, but then I've been modding out my own one, and I've been adding in certain mods for like content creation, and I've been, adding another mod for books and another one for actions and notes coming out of Fathom for from the AI that's taking my notes, and then that's going in and making tasks in my Notion. So I'm like automating a lot of like processes and like thinking, or having to remember stuff within my business, and it's all kind of like going into this second brain system, and it's really epic. Seriously, it's the biggest game changer just to have everything there. And it's just really keeping me on track, and it's giving me a base. I think especially because I don't have a base like home-wise, because I'm like nomadic essentially at the moment. I mean, I've been in Bali for a little while, but essentially I'm a digital nomad, as they would say. The Notion has become my base, I guess, for my business. So that has just been an absolute game changer. I'm thinking of actually running a second brain, building a second brain workshop maybe here in Canggu at some point. I just think a lot of people would get a lot of value out of that. So yeah, I'm just keep modding that out, and I'm happy to I think I mentioned last week, if you guys want to see that, just comment, and I'm happy to do like a video on how that second brain systems works, what I've actually built in there, because it's really like the amount of information that we have to remember these days is just insane. Like it's overload. So like having something like that, it just takes such a lot of pressure off. Okay, the next thing is the fifth thing is some client wins that I've had. So basically my client Nick, she has made some really great moves this week with creating content. So Nick's YouTube channel is starting to rock and roll. So she's got some really cool looking content on there. Launched a video today. She even did a little bit of her own video editing, which I think is pretty cool. Long term, I don't think that's the best idea, but I think it's really good. I think you should know as a founder how to do, like, just how that works at a basic level. Like, I think it's important. And and it's really cool what Nick's doing. So Nick's really super motivated to make content for founders and helping founders through their founder journey. Like, a lot of founders get depression, and it's really tough being a founder. It's isolating. You're on your own. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of risk, and there's not a lot of support. Like, everyone's pretty much telling you, just get a job, mate. Just bloody get a job. Don't worry about that. Like, just go on, so you're constantly having to like challenge your friends and your family and like really stay true to your vision, to your dream. Excuse me, just coughed a little bit there. That was the COVID coming out a bit, I think. Hang on a sec. Sorry. Go again. There we go. Back. And then we recently ran a sprint for Love Out Loud, and the sprints are running really well. We've got this Agile sprint process going, and it's actually running really well. And just unfortunately, as things are going with that, we lost one of our team members, valued team members. So that's a shame, because the team was starting to work really, really well together. There's always a bit of storming when you introduce new people and new systems, and then it starts to, there's forming, storming, norming, and performing. Those are the 4 stages when you start building teams. And so we're kind of missing a person in that role. So I don't know if there's anyone out there that's very good with HubSpot marketing, process, ops, kind of stuff, got a basic understanding of social media, then definitely reach out. You can DM me on Instagram, actually, at Rixley, and I'll get back to you. But yeah, I mean, we've got to find someone for that role. We're going to be doing some recruiting very soon, I'm sure. But yeah, if there's anyone out there that's good with HubSpot marketing and ops process, likes Agile sprint methodology, we're all about that. We're using that in our ops team there. Then yeah, just send me a DM. I'd love to chat to you. And then my Botswana team, the cappuccinos team in Botswana, my client Graham is doing really well too. Like they actually smashed it this last week. We've got them doing Agile sprint at cappuccinos. Like, this is really interesting, this case study. I love it because we've literally taken an African business, a business that runs on paper. Like, these guys are running on paper. Like, I'm talking clipboards, pens, and paper, running around and checking everything off on tick boxes and putting them in like a filing cabinet over there that like never gets looked at, or like hanging this clipboard up on the wall. We've taken this business from that, and now they're running Agile, like on Asana, like task management, and we've automated a bunch of stuff. It's big. Like they weren't using Google Docs or Google Drive or calendars or anything, and now they're like integrating all these tools, and it's really, really cool to see that. And they actually smashed the sprint planning this week. Like, I was so impressed. It's crazy how much you can grow in a week, 1 week, 2 weeks, in a month. If you're just working together as a team and you're actually committed to the process and to the learning, and if you're open to it, there's a lot you can do. So yeah, that's episode 6. That's all from me here from Canggu in Bali, Indonesia. Yeah, I didn't stand on my soul steps today. I think that was really distracting last week. Sorry guys. I was like moving. I watched the video and I was like moving around a lot. So I decided to sit down today on a chair to do this. And yeah, I'm gonna have this episode up. This should be up within within an hour or two after I've recorded this. And tonight I'm going to go and play some music. I've actually been really, really craving to play music again. I've been playing music on my own, but I haven't really had like a group. I've haven't had a group of people to play music. And then I stumbled across this really amazing thing that's going on here in Canggu with a whole the musicians kind of getting together and playing medicine music up here at Nuanu. They do like an ecstatic dance, and then in the evening on Sunday nights they get together and do a little jamming around the fire here. So I do miss that a lot. So I'm gonna go over there tonight and play some music, which I'm really excited about actually. I really, 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 really miss that. And that was an insight that I got too there. It's like, when you do leave these parts of yourself behind, and you can take the healthy parts too, and it's like you don't have to throw everything out. You don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. You can take the good pieces. You can take the good bits forward, the pieces that you enjoy, the healthy pieces, and it doesn't mean that you have to completely reject all those parts. And so I really got connected back with that on last Sunday after I recorded, and I ran off to that event. And so I'm very much looking forward to that tonight. It's going to be amazing. So that's it from me. You can find me on Instagram at Rixley, and you can find me on X at Captain Rix, and TikTok. You can find me on, actually I think on X it's at Captain, let's have a look here, sorry. I should know this. At Captain Rixley on X. And I'm going to be moving more on my X profile. I just haven't. I'm still building this second brain system. I'm in a consolidation phase right now, but then once I've got this system set up properly, I'll be making a lot of written content. I've been flagging a lot of stuff. There's stuff I've been writing for like the last 10 years that I'm just kind of all bringing all in together. So stay tuned for that. I've also got, if you haven't already seen the episode with Nick Gibson on Design on Purpose, I would definitely recommend check that out. And I've got another episode I should be launching in the next couple of weeks with Theme Rains. Very interesting episode too. I filmed that at the Four Seasons in Ubud, a beautiful location. And that episode is with this amazing woman who works with water and the energetics of water and is making skin products with this whole process. It's very interesting. So we'll talk more about that. Maybe I'll give a little insight into that just closer to when I release that podcast. But yeah, so that's Design on Purpose on YouTube, and that's it from me. I hope you guys all have a great week. And next week I'll give a little bit more update on the leadership too. I'm doing a few updates on that too, and values wise and whatnot. So yeah, that's it from me. Have a great week, and smooth sailing, everyone. Ciao.